All right, I'm recording now. So, welcome to week 1 of Coach Basics. It's only a 2-week group, so there's going to be a lot of information in 10 days, but we're going to keep it the nuts and bolts of the main info that you're going to need. And I know, Jessica, you've been through it before, so some of it's going to be repetitive, but a lot of it is, I think, with this business is that consistency and staying on top of, those basics every day. And we're going to go over that. So I hope you listened to the call or the little introduction by Janelle, because Janelle's awesome, Janelle Summers, on that post from yesterday, because her attitude is totally the type of attitude you need to have when you're, working the business. Is like, have fun with it. It should be something fun. And that's the reason why I've stayed with it, is because I've had so much fun with it. And I think the coaches that have been successful have really enjoyed themselves. So keep it light. Don't get stressed out. Keep it simple. I really believe in the simple, keeping it simple method. I'm reading The Slight Edge right now, and it's like light bulb moments all over the place. So if you haven't read that, I recommend that, because it talks about, it's those little things that make the difference with the consistency. So we're going to talk a lot about that and try to have a good time with it, because posting on social media can actually be a lot of fun. Be goofy with it. Jessica, you always do funny posts. I love reading yours, and Sarah Bry does some really interesting ones, and just kind of, I don't know, it's fun to see. So, and the other thing is that everything with this business is, again, it just takes time. For some people it goes quickly, but it's just one of those things that you just do the same. You do these vital behaviors every day, which we're going to talk about, and you will see that process blossom. And that's kind of what's worked for me. I feel like I've been a slow and steady coach, but it's been pretty consistent because I do the same things every day. So the basics of the business, I want to go over the vital behaviors, and I know they will cover it in the basics probably this week, but I feel like it's important to talk about right off the bat, because the vital behaviors, honestly, that's when life is busy for me, that's all I focus on is my 3 vital behaviors. And that is, and Whitney, we talked a little bit about it on the phone the other day. It's that working out and drinking your Shakeology. And it's like that being a product of the product kind of thing. We can't promote things that we don't know. We don't have personal experience. I mean, we can, but you wouldn't be genuine, because that's the whole point, is for us to be genuinely, passionate about it. So it's obviously drinking your Shakeology every day. I'm not saying you have to work out like a crazy person every single day, but some of you might. I did for a while. Right now I'm only about 3 to 4 days a week, but it's important to do those things and share about that on social media. We don't want to shove it down people's throats, but it's also that's part of what we're about is, we're all trying to better our lives and, hopefully help others do the same. So it's important, to, like I said, be a product of the product. And the other thing is that personal development, which it really took me a long time to get on board with that. And again, The Slight Edge is what I'm reading right now. It really helps. It just takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day to read take a book, and, we can provide recommendations for you if you need. But, for me, The Slight Edge is a great one. GoPro, You Are a Badass is a good one. There's plenty of, what are you reading right now, Jessica? Are you reading GoPro? I can't remember what you have. I just got it right there. GoPro. Oh, The Miracle Morning. Is The Miracle Morning good? Yeah, it's good. I haven't checked that one out, but GoPro is amazing. I think it's such a good one to pick up for, because it talks about multi-level marketing, and Eric Worre is like a guru with multi-level marketing, and I learned a lot. So it's a great one, but there's so many out there. I have a huge list I could share with you all if you want, and I should post that in Team All Stars, but I'll do that. So that's important. And then the third one, I probably spend the bulk of my time on, is the inviting process, which I feel like there's different stages of the inviting process. One is adding to your network. And what that means is, whatever social media medium you're using, which most of us use Facebook primarily, but I know a lot of others are using Instagram, and some use Twitter and some use blogs. I haven't expanded that far. I do most of mine on Facebook and my like page and a little bit on Instagram. That's just me personally, but I know when I have more time, I'm going to have to try to grow that. But whatever social media platform you're using, growing that network, you want to expand your base of potential customers and friends, developing friendships with new people. So trying to add 2 to 3 people per day would be ideal. I know sometimes it can be challenging, so we can brainstorm different ideas to add to your network, but that is really important because you don't want to be reaching the same people every day. You want to be reaching new people and new people. The second piece of inviting that I have found is essential is literally just reaching out to people every day. And this is one thing I will say I have a strength in, is I always reach out to 2 to 3 people per day just to say hi. I don't talk about Beachbody. I just reach out like, how's it going? I get on their page. I kind of see what's going on in their life. And I'll just reach out and say hello. So that's been, I've been doing that since day one. And it's kind of like that thing I was talking about before, the compound effect. You do those little things every day and it makes that difference for you. It seems like little things, but it does make a difference. So, and then with that, oh, look at that. Is he serving you or is he trying to tempt you? My husband just made me steak, so I'm like, my belly looks bigger than I already am. But, so I find that connecting with people and just reestablishing or establishing relationships with people is huge, because really what we're about is that relationship piece with others, and staying genuine, being who you are. Those are all really important, because people can see right through you if your intention is just to sell them something. And that really should not be our intention. Our intention is to help them with whatever they may need, and just having a genuine relationship. It is, doing that for me has just like take Beachbody away from the whole situation. I've made lots of new friends, people that never bought a product from me. It's been great for me personally, just developing those friendships and relationships. And some of those probably will turn into sales at some point, but I don't keep that on an agenda for me. That's just how I handle it. But with that said, building those relationships, oftentimes the conversations will start going in the direction of, oh, I noticed you're into health and fitness and blah, blah, blah. And oftentimes that's kind of where I go with that. And there is a process, it's called forming, and that's part of that relationship building process, which is family. You talk to them about their family, their occupation, their recreation, things they like to do, and then like your message, basically what you're, the invitation process. So that's kind of, and I can share that in the group as well. I'll write that down for myself. And then the third part of inviting is the actual invite to a challenge group or whatever. I don't generally do cold invitations. I do occasionally though. Sometimes I do, but generally I let the conversations flow in that direction. And then if I'm seeing that there's a desire to better, if they're wanting a desire to better their health and fitness or their financial situation or whatever it may be, I will bring it up, because I truly believe that I have something to offer. And I think if it comes from your core that you believe that this is something of value, you should never feel guilty about invitations, because you're just trying to help. And most people will not take offense to it. When you say, hey, I've got this going on, would you ever be interested? And many times people will be like, oh, what is it about? And then that opens the door to having those conversations. So that invite process, like I said, it's growing your network. It's, making those just genuine connections with people. And then once you've established relationships, then those that actual invite to a challenge group or the coaching opportunity comes in play. And we'll go more into detail about that later on, but that just kind of gives you an overview. And honestly, for 2 years, I've been at this for, I think it's been 2 years and 2 months. Those things I've done every single day from day one. And, as a working, and I think everyone in here, has lots of things going on in their lives. We're all busy in our own right. I feel like if you keep it simple, because if you start getting overwhelmed, just bring it back to the basics. That's all it really is. Bring it back to the basics, and you will start seeing progress. So kind of keep that in the back of your mind. That's what I've always done. I block out all the noise of some of the other ideas and things like that, and I stick to the basics when life gets crazy. So that's the basic of it. The other thing you'd like to do, there's that National Wake Up Call. Did everyone listen to it? Raise your hand if you did. I haven't listened to it yet, but I will. I do the podcast, but I plan on doing it. If you don't have the podcast app, it's great because it's got all the National Wake Up Calls from forever. And I think it's under Team Beachbody Coach or something like that. That's how I access mine. I never listen to it live because I'm working at that time. I usually listen to it at some point in the week. So, and I definitely want to hear this one because she talks about the Success Club points and then the leadership ladder, which you guys don't have to worry about quite yet, but it's, it'll be, usually there's a coach on there that has something interesting or new to share, and it's important to get on that. And then the other good thing to kind of get into is figure out your tracking system right now. And I know it was posted yesterday in the Coach Basics group. Whatever your tracking system may be, I use this Plum planner. It's really cute too. I think it's called Plum. Yeah, the Plum paper daily planner. I like it. I think I might do the Passion Planner next year, but it breaks it up. You can see it it has the calendar, which helps me see the whole month overview. And then I'll have each day is broken down, Monday, you can see Monday morning, afternoon, and I just kind of break down my to-do list and I check it off as I go. As far as the people I'm following up with, I do a completely separate thing for them. I have a list of people who I've spoken to that have shown some level of interest, and so that I don't miss people. You definitely want to start that process now. It's better sooner than later because once you start growing, it starts to get, I don't want to say overwhelming, but it's hard to track. So every person that you talk to that has an ounce of interest, make sure you write their name down. Because the reason why we say that is because it typically takes between 5 and 7 contacts before someone contacts about fitness or nutrition or whatever before someone commits. If someone says no right off the bat, typically that's very typical. It's normal. I'm not saying don't accept no for an answer. I'm saying that don't discount them. They may come around with the next conversation or the next thing you post. It might inspire them that time, or maybe it just wasn't the right time. So we always still keep them on a follow-up list and make sure that you're staying connected with them and continuing that relationship. Oftentimes when someone says, no, I'm not interested right now, cool, that's fine. And the next conversation I have might be about their kids. Or, oh, what did you do for spring break? Or whatever, just maintaining that relationship, and it will circle back around. I kind of take that natural approach. That's my own approach. I don't know. Other coaches kind of, you kind of have to figure out what works best for you based on your personality and what's genuine to you, because the last thing we want is for you to not be who you are and not feel like you are being yourself. So, and then the last thing really is just figuring out what time in the day that you feel you could work the business. And I've talked about this before with other coaches is, you really need to dedicate that time because our days get away from us. If I did not put it down or know or plan ahead, I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't work because life just gets crazy. But if I know between this time and this time I'm working, I've communicated that with my family, we're all on board, we've planned for it, we're good, and I think that's really important. And I didn't really take that stance till about a year in, and it made all the difference. You know, it helped me take the business more seriously, and it helped, you know, my family be a little bit more on board, so I wasn't feeling overwhelmed. So there we are with that. Does anyone have any questions right now, no matter where you are in the business? Like, what do you have? What's going on with you guys? And any, I don't know, like I said, wherever you're at, because Jessica, I know you've been doing it for a while. Kim, you've been doing it for a while. Melissa, you've been doing it for a while. Whitney's brand new. Kaylee, I don't know how long you've been doing it. I'm not sure, but how are you all doing right now? Just unmute yourself if you have something to share.
I mean, I feel like I have some questions, but at the same time, like, I'm just following all you guys and going through the website and kind of just taking it one step at a time, I guess, like you guys keep saying. So like, I don't want to get too ahead of myself with everything, because I feel like I'm like, oh no, I should be reaching out to people and like doing all this stuff, but I'm like, I just started my program, and so I'm just trying to kind of like take a step back and I guess just, I don't know, go with the flow and listen to you guys.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good way not to get overwhelmed. I mean,
yeah,
that's a good approach to take. So, you know, and you might just jot down the questions and they'll probably get answered naturally. But,
yeah,
you know, if there's ever any pressing questions, just obviously you can just contact one of us or text me or, you know, put it in the group. Although I think Wendy turned off where you can't post in that Coach Basics. You can only comment on a post. She turned off or she made it only admins could. But anyway, at any rate, reach out to any of us if there's ever any pressing questions. But like I said, like Whitney, that's great. You're starting your program. I've seen you post a couple times. And then, you know, the next step would be for you to start slowly reaching out to people, adding to your network, things like that. But that will happen. You know, I'm sure that they're going to do a post about the vital behaviors probably tomorrow or the next day. I'm not sure what their posting schedule is because I'm not running this one. How is everyone doing? How's everyone else doing with their vitals? Jessica, how are you doing with it? Where are you at with it? Oh, I can't hear you for some reason. Or you're just mouthing your words. Is your microphone on? How about you, Kim? How are you doing? Because I know it's busy time of year. You're a high school counselor, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I know it's crazy. My life's crazy too right now.
Yeah. So I just do the best that I can every day. Mm-hmm. That's really it right now. So sometimes I feel like the part that I feel like I can improve is I was shooting for 5-3-2, so 5 connections, 3 invites to like either follow up or coach, whatever. And I think what I just need to go to is like a 3-2-1 just right now, because and do that just consistently, because I'll go, 2 days of not doing any, follow-ups or connections, and then I will have a day where I will get them in. But then it's keeping up with the responses. So that's what I'm finding. And maybe it's just because I write too much, but which is very likely. But I always wanted them to know that I'm listening to them and hearing them. So I want to respond to every thought that they say. And I just think sometimes the responses back to the messages takes me my power hour. And that's what I have a hard time balancing.
Yeah. When is your power hour? Is it at night, in the morning? When do you do it?
Yeah, it's at night. And it's not a power hour. It's like power 2 hours, 2.5.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes those responses can be a time sucker. Mm-hmm. So that is the challenge.
And I gotta find at work, my office is incredibly visible. So I feel like I can't be on my phone very much, and I want to like catch in a message here and there. And even at lunch, like I kind of get the stink eye if I'm not like going to lunch, you know, I'm just going to stay in my office today. And then I don't know. So I've got to figure out a way to use my lunch hour or my lunch half hour. And maybe that's when I do my responses or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that I can understand that. I do a lot of my responses at my lunch hour or in between students because I'm, you know, a similar job, social worker. So like I have my phone, but I'm in a different situation, you know. But yeah, I totally understand that because the power hour is effective for just doing those initials, but the follow-ups can take multiple conversations, and you might just have to be okay with the fact if you're not able to respond to them right away. You know what I mean? Like I'm guilty of this. If someone responds and they have something heartfelt or whatever, and I'm busy, I have to be okay with like, well, they can wait until I actually have a moment. And, you know, even if they have to wait a day, or I'll send them a quick message. I did read your message. I will get back to you by this time, you know, because you don't want to get burnt out. And we're just trying to get through the end of the school year at this point too, which that's good that you've kind of like lowered what's realistic for you. Cause I still think 3-2-1 is great. It's that consistency and sticking with it. And if you have to, do a bunch on Sunday. You know, at one point I used to do them all on Sunday, but then it didn't work for me. But sometimes I do if the week's too crazy, or I'll do all my follow-ups on one day, you know, that kind of thing. So you just kind of have to figure out your situation to get you going. So yeah, I can appreciate that. When are you done with school?
Our students are not done till June 15th.
Ew.
Oh, and then I have to work the whole week after that.
Oh, that stinks.
Really, really stinks.
Are you like are you considered an admin or?
Well, the counselors always have to stay like a week and a half after and then come back a week and a half before everybody else. So yeah. So, but I'm, you know, I think I'm improving some of those vitals. I think the consistency piece in getting them in every day is my biggest challenge.
Yeah.
I feel like the pieces are there, you know, like the habits are there. It's really trying to gain that consistency every single day.
Yeah. And I think you actually are pretty consistent. It probably doesn't feel that way sometimes because it gets chopped up based on, you know, your expectations for yourself too, you know, because I see you as pretty consistent, and, what's being put out there is consistent and what people are seeing is consistent. So that part is good. It just can feel that way though. You know, just because our lives are really busy right now, but you're doing awesome. I mean, I love that transformation post you did. Did you get traction from that?
I did, but now I'm like, I need to respond to all those people.
Oh, just take your time.
Messages. They were so nice, like such thoughtful responses, and I just feel bad that I haven't like gone through and like personally responded to all of them. But thank you. That was felt good to do.
Yeah, definitely. And that's that counselor in you wanting to be thorough. How about you, Melissa? How are things going? I see you're probably multitasking right now.
Yeah, getting some laundry done.
I hear ya.
Okay, so far. I had today off. They gave us a election day off as a furlough day.
Oh.
Otherwise, they would have had to pay us because we only had one snow day. So I got quite a bit done. I went back through and kind of looked at all of my contacts again because I was all over the place and kind of consolidated. I think the biggest thing that has helped me is making sure I get my professional development in, or my personal development, not professional.
I know you meant.
Thinking school.
Me too.
I read GoPro back in July and loved it, but I really didn't apply it like I'm applying it now. Like it just makes so much more sense now. And I just ordered Miracle Morning, so I should be getting that on Monday. So I'm excited about that.
I need to do that one too. I need to read that one. Yeah. So good. That personal development, it seriously took me so long to get on board with it
Mhm.
because we're busy and I don't have time to sit. Sometimes I'll listen to audio things, but you know, I don't know if I've mentioned it with you guys. I've done it in the last Coach Basics. There's a app called Overdrive. And if you belong to a local library, you can rent books on your phone for free.
Really?
And then you get them for like 2-week periods of time. So, I mean, you'd have to read it within the 2 weeks or check out, it's kind of like checking out, but on your phone. So my book that I checked out was The Slight Edge. So it's on my phone. I just read it on my phone, 10 minutes before I go to bed. When I go up to bed, I'll sit and read my phone for 10 minutes or whenever I have a few minutes. So that's kind of a nice free way to do it.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people do Audible. And in the Overdrive, some of the books are audio. So it's not all like where you read on your phone. So that piece is nice because when I do get an audio, I will listen to it on my car ride to work. And then that totally frees up I'll have that personal development done. So just an idea too, so that we're not all spending massive amounts of money. And I know Jessica does, she's not on the call right now, but she did a, what was it called? I'll have to ask her. She was telling me about this website where you can get books really discounted, super duper cheap.
Oh, there's
You mentioned it?
I can't remember what it's called, but I've ordered books for my classroom through there.
Okay.
Super, super cheap.
Yeah.
If I remember what it is, I'll post it on the team page.
Yeah. So that was a good idea too. But yeah. So awesome. That's nice. You got the day. You only had one snow day. That's crazy.
Yeah. I know.
So lucky.
Oh, well.
I know. All right, Kaylee, did you want to share anything? If you want to, you don't have to. If you don't want to.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I've never used this before, so I'm gonna go on this. I am having trouble with reaching out to people. I think I'm maybe mentioning Shakeology too fast.
Okay.
So I like what you said earlier. It takes 5 to 7 contacts, like conversations, I'm assuming you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Somebody for them to say yes. So I think I just got to stick to that before just throwing Shakeology in their face.
Yeah, and it's a hard balance because some people, they just want to cut to the chase. There are some people that are like that. I've had people that are like, all right, just tell me what the deal is, and then, but most people, it does take time, and you might even go back to those conversations just for your own learning and just read through it and try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Like if someone was approaching, how would you feel? What would work differently? You kind of dissect it a little bit. I've had to do that, and I've looked back and I'm like, oh, I spoke too soon. I've done that many times. It's kind
I've got a few of my messages, and I'm just so embarrassed by it, but definitely a learning experience. So.
We've all been there, and I'm sure most people, I think most people are pretty cool with it. They understand. But yeah, it's just a learning experience. And I've even copied and pasted conversations and shared them with my upline for some ideas, even up to the last month. And I've been doing this for a couple of years because I think we're always sort of learning different ways or different approaches with people. And especially when you're like anxious and you're excited, you just want to share it with them. So
yeah.
We've all done it. I wouldn't lose sleep over it. You just kind of keep moving forward.
Yeah, I do have more time now, though. I graduate in 3 weeks, so
Yay.
I have so much more time to commit to Beachbody, and I'm excited about that.
Oh, that's awesome. What are you graduating with?
A nutrition degree, actually.
Nice. You'll be able to put that in a good use then.
Yes, I'm
Nice.
excited and happy about that.
Cool. Yeah, it'll be nice for you to be able to reevaluate your time and just kind of, I'm sure it will feel like a fresh start almost. So
I've struggled with that since I started, which was, I think, February.
was it? Okay. Yeah. No, it can be a challenge, especially when there's just a lot going on, but that change, and that will take one thing off your plate. So awesome.
Hey, Kaylee, give us an example of how you start when you reach out to somebody maybe you haven't talked to in a while. Give us an example of how you start that conversation.
Well, now I've learned. At first, I started saying, "Oh, I just started being a Beachbody coach, and it's awesome, and I love it." And I felt like people didn't really respond to that. So now I've just been, I guess, stalking slightly their Facebook page and seeing what's new to them, and then I'll comment on, "Oh, hey, I just saw you move. Where are you living now?" And I'll just try to start up a conversation.
Perfect.
Instead of being a robot, I'm trying to be a person, which is difficult for me because I'm not used to talking to so many people. I have like a small group of friends and all this other stuff. So,
Right. Yeah, no, that's good. You know, it's when people decide, or if they stop responding, I think that's a perfect way to handle it, is just getting on their page, re-engaging, reestablishing. It's called disarming. It's basically like taking that pressure off of them. And, you know, I think that's great that you're doing that.
I think for me, Kaylee, early on, I would just do what you were like, just stalk their page, or I would see them post something and I would reach out and say, hey, and how you doing? And, you know, that sort of thing. And then if the conversation doesn't ever go to fitness or, you know, anything like that, I don't ever force it. I just let it go. Because I think, you know, the more that I found that I'm consistent posting about fitness, and when I post it about me, like whether it's my workout or you know, what I'm doing, whatever that is, I feel like it's all of a sudden my 5 connections get to health and fitness more quickly, because the person that I'm reaching out to, I feel like is connecting back to whatever they're seeing me post about. So that it has helped the conversations too. So
I think I have another question. So if they do ever, you know, respond or feel interested in health and fitness, how do you transition from a whatever topic to the Beachbody, Shakeology, health and fitness, like without sounding like salesy?
Sarah?
You know, usually, I don't know. I mean, I usually try to thread in somewhere in the conversation. Like, for example, I was just looking down at my phone. I'm talking to someone who, she's super busy single mom, and she has an 8-year-old son and an 18-year-old son. And she's like, I have no time to myself. And so all day we've been messaging back and forth. Well, not all day, but, you know, through periodically over the last couple of days, I have to say, when messaging back and forth, like, you know, I compliment her because I think single moms are amazing, because it's hard enough with a husband, so complimenting her, and I always make sure that I'm focusing on that positive. And then we talk about that time management and what are some of your struggles and blah, blah, blah. And you should, and I've even said, you know, I'm going to be where you're at in a few years with a son graduating from high school and all this kind of stuff, you know. So I just kind of keep it really natural. And then she's like, man, I just don't have any time for myself. And I'm like, well, what do you do? What's your free time like? And, you know, she's like, I have an hour at night. And I'm like, yeah, that's about what I have too. And, you know, it can be a challenge and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you should really do something for yourself on the weekend. She's like, I just really don't have the money. And I'm like, well, that stinks, because you really, as a mom, you need to have that time. I said, you know, I have an opportunity if you would ever be interested, you know, and I kind of keep it that's how I do it. I make it super natural. And she's like, yeah, I'm interested in hearing it. So I just sent her a call, and she's going to listen to it. You know, so that's kind of the approach I take. I think it's the social worker in me, and Kim, you probably have that too. It's just, you just really kind of thread in, like focusing on what they really need in their life, so to speak, I guess. I don't know how else to word that, and relate to them on a personal level. So sometimes it's, you just got to be creative with. That's just the way I do it. I don't know how you do it, Kim. I don't know what your approach is, but.
Well, if the conversation gets to health and, or get, where they say, oh, you've been rocking it, or, that sort of thing, I'll just say, I'll just respond with something like, thanks so much. Yep. Been working hard, never felt better. And I'm trying to think, if they mention they're doing anything, then I just ask them about what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
If they mention health and fitness, I just ask them what they're doing. And if they have, then I start on do you have any goals? Like, are you working towards anything?
Right.
And sort of go from there, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely put it back on them. What are they doing? And then I also talk about like it's so much fun what I'm doing. I've met such a cool network of women. And sometimes I'll be like, you should check it out. I'll just say it like that. Check it out. I'd love to have you in. It'd be so much fun if it's something you're interested in, the extra accountability. And that's usually what my invites sound like. I try to make it sound like how I talk on how I write when I'm texting or messaging people. But yeah, I agree with you, Kim, and how that approach goes. But I think there are scripts, and I don't know if you've accessed those before, Kaylee, but the scripts are great, but I still make it my own voice, and I use them to help guide my conversations sometimes, but I don't always go exactly by it because I don't want to sound robotic. I want to sound like myself.
You use the same thing, the same script that you make your own for every single person?
I don't. I know some coaches literally copy and paste. And I've tried that before, and that was not effective for me because it wasn't I don't know. I just feel like there's a genuine piece there missing. I will follow like the guideline of where the conversation should go, so to speak. Like, what are your goals? And then, maybe sending them a video. And then when they ask about the cost, this is how I would approach it, that kind of thing. So I generally follow it, but I don't copy and paste. Sometimes I do, depending, but most of the time I just follow it, do a general following of it. I don't know.
It's a skeleton, Kaylee, like the invite. It's just kind of a skeleton that shows you the sort of the way that the conversation can be broken down. And then within that becomes your voice.
Right.
Your jargon, your tone, if you're hey girl, you're a rock star, if that's your voice, then that's what you would say in those messages. I'm notorious for saying, you're a badass, like, but that's just my voice, so whatever that is, that's what you would sort of thread in to make it personal.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to get kicked off in about 1 second. So I hate to cut you guys off because it was a great conversation. I'm going to save this recording and give it to the other people that missed it, and I will post it in the group if you want as well. So, and then just, message us for any other questions. Those are great questions, Kaylee. So, all right, girl.